Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial we are making the matching swirl infinity scarf. And I said matching, I meant like the matching infinity scarf for our hat that matches the hat we have. Link for the hat will be in the description box. But for our scarf today, now I said infinity scarf. I want to start out first of all by saying you do not have to make this an infinity scarf if you don't want to. All you have to do is just leave off the part where we sew it together and weave in your ends and you're done. So if you choose to do the infinity scarf, we are going to sew it together and go from there. But anyway, so what we do is we work our 4-row repeat over and over and over and over and over, and then we are going to sew the end together and go from there. But so what you are going to need to make this scarf is, now for mine I used Big Twist Twinkle, and it's in the color white. Now okay, so here's what I did. I had 2 skeins. One skein I used a little bit out of to make my hat. I used all of another skein, and then what I have left of the second skein to work the scarf, and it's 79 inches long. Now, you don't have to do that. You can make it longer if you want, shorter if you want. How it, like a normal scarf that's not an infinity scarf usually measure about 60 to 65 inches. So if you just want to do that, then you just work your pattern, your 4-row repeat until your scarf measures 60 to 65 inches. But for mine, I didn't want to waste any yarn. So I used all of one skein and everything I had left of the second skein after I made the hat out of it. So you are going to need 2 skeins. How long you make it, it's up to you. If you choose to do the infinity, go 79, 80 inches. If you choose to do the normal scarf, we just go to 60, 65, somewhere in there. Okay, and then you are going to need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, a needle to weave in your ends, and an iron with the steam setting. Now the reason we have that is because over the many hours of me trying to figure out how to make the swirl in a back and forth pattern, when I finally figured it out, the only problem was as we work it, it wants to roll in like that. So what we're going to do is take our steam setting on our iron and we're going to hold it over and just steam it a little bit and then give it a little flattening like that. Just enough to say, I'm boss, I want you to lay this way. Do what I ask, please. Just enough to do that. All right? Okay, what else? I think that's it. Pretty sure that's it. All right, so get all of your stuff together and let's get started. Okay, so to get started with our scarf, go ahead and get you a chain of 32. And like I said earlier, if you don't want to do your scarf just that wide, the stitch multiple is any multiple of 4. So for today's video, I've got just a little, I'm going to work a smaller little swatch of 16. Because I've already got my main part of the scarf done, I'm just going to show you guys the stitch pattern. Okay, so get your chain of 32 or however wide you want your scarf to be. And we're going to start with row 1. And we're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from our hook. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 into the 4th with a double crochet. And then we're going to double crochet into each chain, remaining chain, all the way down. Oop, missed that. Alright, so go ahead and repeat. Go ahead and double crochet into all your remaining chains. I'm actually just about done, so I'm just going to stay with you guys. Double and double and double. One more into the very last chain. And there's row 1. So to move on to row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to double crochet into our very first double crochet. So right there, that very first one. Double crochet right into there. Now we're going to double crochet into the next 4 double crochet. So we're going to have 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to have 5 double crochet to start row 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we are going to work a front post treble. So the matching hat for this is using the front post half treble, but for the scarf we didn't need that. We need more length, so we need the front post treble. Okay. All right, so now we're going to front post treble around the 4th double crochet from row 1. So if we just hold that out and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That one right there, we're going to work our front post treble around. 1, 2. Go in there and work your treble. So it's laying to the side like that. And if you guys can hear that, that's my cat snoring. Churchy. 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 He's okay, so now some of you may know whenever you're working a pattern and you have a front post stitch, you work your front post stitch, you always skip the stitch that front post is supposed to replace, right? So, normally we would skip this next double crochet, right? Well, for this pattern, we're actually going to be working into it. So we are going to work a double crochet decrease with the first part into the one we're supposed to skip, and then the second half into the next double crochet. And the reason why we're doing that is because if I was to just skip that stitch and then carry on with the pattern, like when I was designing this, that's what I did, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to skip the stitch that the front post treble is going to replace. Well, when I did that, and you looked at your scarf, there was a huge hole. There's a huge hole created here, and then there'd be a big one here on the next row, which you understand, by skipping that. So I thought, okay, so if I work into that stitch and then into each one, I'm always going to be, I'm always going to have one extra stitch, right? So what I decided to do was work a decrease, the double crochet decrease. So yarn over, go into the very next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next double crochet, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and we have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. And there is our double crochet decrease. Now that doesn't leave nearly as big of a hole for that treble to stretch across, so this isn't quite as large. And then back here, this right here isn't quite as large. So that's why I decided to work the decrease right here. But now we're going to double crochet into the next 2 doubles. 1 and 2. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work another front post treble, but we're going to work it 4 double crochet away from the one that we worked, from this one right here that we worked into. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to work right around this one. And I do want to tell you guys, this is the only row that we're going to be counting each stitch, because after this, it's always going to be into the front post treble that we work the front post treble. So this is the only row that we're going to be counting across like that. Okay, so yarn over twice for your front post treble. Come from the one we worked into already and count 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we work our front post around that 4th one. So we're coming back a little bit, working to the side. And it does help me to like hold the work sideways and work it. Okay, so now we work our decrease over the next 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, pull through all three. So the repeat for the row is to work the decrease, double crochet into 2, front post into the 4th double crochet from row 1 away from the one that you worked your last front post treble in. Then start the repeat over. Start over here. Decrease, work your front post treble, 4 double crochet away from the last one you worked, and then double crochet into the next 2. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. So the repeat is you work your decrease, and then you work double crochet into the next 2, then work your front post, 4 double crochet away from your very last one, and then you start the repeat over again. Decrease, double crochet into the next 2, work your front post, 4 double crochet away from your last one, 3 into the 4th, right? Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? And around the 4th one from your last is the front post. And then we start it over again with the decrease, double crochet into the next 2, work your front post, 4 double crochet away from around the 4th double crochet away from your last. Okay, you repeat that across, and then you're going to end with the front post treble. I already worked mine. The front post treble, your decrease, and then you should have 2 double crochet and then your chain 3 left. And we're just going to work a double crochet into the last 3 stitches, which happens to be your 2 doubles and your chain 3. So working that into the top of your chain 3. Okay, I feel like I may have confused you guys a little bit, and I'm sorry. So the repeat again, just to clarify, or the row again, I'll say, we double crochet into the first 5, front post into the 4th double crochet from row 1, work your double crochet decrease over the next 2, double crochet into the next 2, front post treble around the double crochet for the 4th double crochet away from your last front post treble, and then double crochet decrease, and that's your repeat. Then you work double crochet into the next 2, front post treble, decrease, double crochet in 2, front post treble, decrease. Work that all the way till you have 3 stitches left, which 2 are the double crochet, the last one is the chain 3 that we skipped at the beginning, and then so you double crochet into the last 3. So you should end with a treble, decrease, a treble, decrease, 3 doubles. Sorry, I feel like I confused you guys. Sorry. Okay, so that was row 2. Now to move on to row 3, we chain 1 and turn, and all we're going to do is work a single crochet into each stitch straight across. So we're just single crocheting right across here. And you should still have the same stitch count. Okay? So we chain 1 and turn, and to move on to row 4, turn that page here. Row 4, we double crochet into the first 7 singles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we work our front post treble around the treble from the last row. Double crochet decrease over the next two. Double crochet into the next two. And then you start the repeat over. Front post treble around the front post treble from the previous row. Double crochet decrease over the next two. Double into the next two. Front post treble around the front post treble from the two rows below, I should say, not the previous row, because the previous row was a singles, I'm sorry. Front post treble around the front post treble, two rows below, decrease over the next two singles, single crochet, and double crochet into the next two singles. So you repeat that across, and then to end this row, we are going to work our front post treble, double crochet decrease into the next two, and then instead of ending with two single crochet or two double crochets, we're going to end with one double crochet into the very last single. So that's how you're going to end round 4. Oops. Okay, so to round 5, we chain 1 and turn, and we single crochet straight across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so you single straight across, keeping your same stitch count, chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to work row 6, and row 6 is the last row of our 4-row repeat. So I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so we chain 1, turn. So now we're going to double crochet into the first 5 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what we're going to do is come down to this row of double crochets, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3. And around that third double, we're going to work our front post treble. So 1, 2, 3, come down, work right around there, and then we work our decrease over the next two. Our double crochet decrease over the next two doubles or singles, double crochet into the next two, and repeat that again. Start with your decrease, double crochet into the next two singles, treble, front post treble around the treble from 2 rows below, and then start again. Decrease over the next two, single into the next two, front post treble, decrease over the next two, double crochet into the next two singles, front post treble around the front post treble from 2 rows below. Repeat that across, and then to end, we're going to work our decrease and single crochet or double crochet into the last 3 single crochets. Okay, so that is going to be the repeat, and the row repeat is row 3, 4, 5, and 6. So row 3, single crochet into each across. Row 4, double crochet into the first 7. Front post treble around the front post from 1 row below. Your decrease over the next 2, single crochet in the next 2. Front post treble, decrease. Why do I keep saying single? I'm sorry. Double crochet into the next 2. And repeat that across, and you're going to end with a decrease and 1 double. row 4, chain 1 and turn, or I'm sorry, row 5, you chain 1 and turn and single crochet across. Row 6, double crochet into the first 5, front post treble into the third double from 2 rows below. So you just, you just look at it and go, there's your beginning chain and then your first double. So that's 1, 2, 3. Front post around that third. Decrease over the next 2, double into the next 2 singles. And then you just start that over again. Front post treble, around the front post 2 rows below, decrease, 2 double crochet. Repeat that across and you're going to end with a decrease. Well, your front post first, your front post treble, and then you're going to decrease over the next 2 and end with a double into the last 3. So just repeat 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to repeat that until your scarf measures roughly 79 inches. I'm going to say it doesn't have to be perfect 79, but we want it long so when we sew it together for that infinity scarf, we have plenty to wrap around. And also, you guys are going to notice while you're working this, your work is going to want to kind of curl up like that. Don't worry about it, okay? We're going to bring it right out of that. It's not a problem at all. It's completely natural, okay? So repeat 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 until your scarf measures 79 inches. If you're, 79 or 80, like it's a big deal. The reason I got 79 is because I had 2 skeins of the big twist that I showed you at the beginning. I had 2 skeins. One skein I used to make the hat. The second skein I used for the scarf, and then finished off the skein from the hat, and I had 79. But if you guys want it longer, go longer. And if you don't want to make an infinity scarf, you just want to make a normal scarf, that length is roughly 65 inches. So get your guys' scarf made and come back here and we're gonna finish it up. Okay, guys. Somebody just honked a horn as soon as I started talking. So I have repeated my 4 rounds and repeated and repeated and repeated, and I am measuring at 79 inches. And I went ahead and I tried to start another row and I ran out of yarn. So I'm going to call it quits on my length. And I chained 1 and I ended on a single crochet row. I chained 1 and I pulled up a loop. And then I'm just going to leave that because I'm going to use what I have left to sew this together to make my infinity scarf. Now, if you don't want to make the infinity scarf, just chain 1, pull up a loop, cut, weave in your ends, and you're good. But I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to show you how to, because your piece is probably kind of rolled up and wonky, which I told you guys earlier in the video that's normal, it's going to happen. And I'm going to show you how to get that curl. I'm going to call it the curl out. It's really easy. All we're going to do is use the steam setting on our iron, and I'm going to steam it and lay it out and get it to lay flat. So I am going to get my camera reset up and get my iron heating up, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got everything set up here. My iron is still heating up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my iron and I'm going to set it right on. I'm not going to, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said set it. I'm not going to set it on there. I'm going to hold it just above my scarf and I'm going to hit my steam and just keep going up and down, you know, like this, paying a lot of attention to these sides, and hit it with that steam. And I'm just going to give it a little tug like that, to just enough to say, I'm the boss, I want you to lay this way. You're going to lay this way. I'm kidding. But yeah, and that's how we're going to get the scarf to lay flat. Now, I have done that farther down here, and you can see how flat it's laying. But up here, like these last, well, you can kind of see these last couple of rows is where I didn't do it, so I could do it with you guys on camera. I thought my iron would be ready by now, but I don't think it is yet. Okay, so thought it started steaming. All right, I'm going to pause this and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, it's finally ready. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take my iron and I'm just going to hover it over the top and push my steam. Set it down and then just kind of show it who's boss. And you can see the curl is just going right out of it. See? But all we're gonna do is do that all the way down your scarf. Also, I want to take the time to apologize to you guys that I keep sniffling. I have had like the sneezes like crazy for like the last 15 minutes. And you can see how my desk is wet now. So I'm going to let this dry, but you guys, you know, work that all the way down the length of your scarf, okay? And once you get it done, shut off my iron. Once you get it done, then we're going to let it set and let it dry. Because I don't want to, well, I mean, look how wet that got. I don't want to sew my infinity scarf together with it wet. All right, so get your ironing done. Not ironing, your steaming done. And then come back here and we are going to sew this together and be done. All right, I'm going to let mine dry and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and everything is dried up now. So what I have is my scarf laying with the right side up. And then I'm going to fold it in half and bring the other side to the end right here. So my right sides are facing each other. Wrong side, right side, okay? Now, obviously, this isn't going to line up perfectly. I mean, like these edges. Like, we can try like this. But it's always going to have that little tilt to it, I'm going to say. And that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. So, what we can do. So, we can use our needle and then just stitch it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all the way to the end. Or you can use your crochet hook, slip stitch it, or single crochet it, stitch for stitch, straight across. Does not matter how you guys do it. I'm actually just going to use my needle and I'm going to sew it shut. So I had finished my last stitch, my last single crochet. I chained one and pulled up a big loop. So I am going to pull this loop through. I think that's enough tail. I don't need any more. All right. Pull that through. So then I have this long tail to weave, or I mean to sew that in together. So I'm going to line it up, edge to edge, just like this. And I'm just going to go through stitches, back and forth, back and forth. I think I definitely need to cut this tail. That is way too long. There. Okay. And, you know, if you're choosing to do this with the needle and your yarn tails, just sewing it shut, you actually don't have to do stitch for stitch. It's not going to hurt if you miss one or two. But that's all I'm going to do to sew this in shut. And I'm not skipping loops. I'm just going through the remaining loops of the beginning chain on this side and both loops on the top of the single crochet on this side. Sure, I'm still lined up pretty good. I missed there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off camera. I'm sure you guys don't want to just watch me sew this. So I'm gonna get to those last few stitches and I'll be, dang it, I did it again. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm coming to that corner and I want to make sure I get pretty nice and far on that corner. I don't want, dang it, I keep bumping that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now to fasten this off, let me start that over again. I did it without showing you. Okay, so I just came out on this end and I've got it nice and all the way to the corner so it's not going to have that weird edge to it. And we've been working it in, out, in, out, in, out. But now what we're going to do is we came out this side and we're going to come around and go in on the opposite side. So what that does is create a loop right here. And then I'm going to run that needle through that loop and pull tight and it knots it. I'm going to do it again. Go right into that loop and pull it tight so it knots. And then I'm just going to run that tail through some stitches. Actually, I'm going to go down and come through the legs of these doubles. If you guys can hear that, that's my cat meowing. He's bored and wants the other cats to play with him. One more time, go through there. And there we go. So now I'm going to cut that. Sorry about that break. I had to blow my nose again. Okay, so we've got that sewn together. So now I'm going to flip it out and you can see our seam. That's a pretty seam. Okay, so turn everything out. And there is our scarf. I'm going to get my matching hat. How pretty is this set? I love this set. Okay. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. You guys are the greatest. You know that. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next for me. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And in the description box, there's links to my Facebook group, my Instagram, my Twitter. Follow me on those, whichever platform you choose to use. And tag me, you know, however you do it on all those different platforms, tag me in them and let me see the pictures because nothing makes me happier than seeing something you guys made of mine. It just puts the hugest smile on my face and I'm so proud, and then I go and show everybody in my house. Like, look what they did. All right, guys, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.